Whether you're a new player or a veteran just jumping back into the game, we're going to be talking about one of the coolest features that Warframe has added in recent years, yet at the same time, one of the most underappreciated and underused features. And this is going to be the K-Drives, the hoverboards in Warframe, a new form of transportation added back a few years ago, honestly. New players will be given this hoverboard as soon as they complete the Vox Solaris quest line. So if you haven't completed that quest line, hop over to Fortuna, finish that quest line, and you'll be getting one completely for free. Welcome back to the channel, Tenno. I am your host, Vault0, and today we're going to be doing a complete beginners / returning players guide to K-Drives. Like I said, this is one of my favorite features added into the game. Not a lot of people talk about them just because the controls are a little wonky, especially if you're playing on Switch. If you're playing on Switch, I'm going to immediately apologize to you guys because just hit you with a personal note. My wife plays on Switch, and she really likes K-Drives. She's been asking me to do the K-Drive mission for her, and it's been extremely frustrating. But that's not to detract from the other consoles. It's extremely fun, and I'm going to, in this guide, talk about K-Drives, what makes them really cool, their mods that are associated with them, how to unlock and purchase your own K-Drive that you can build. They are modular, kind of like amps, kit guns, Zols, things of that nature, so they're different pieces and upgrades that you can get for them by increasing your standing with the faction associated with them. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into it. Off the bat, like I said, all you need to do is travel to Valis or Fortuna, more specifically, and complete the Vox Solaris questline, and that will net you your first K-Drive. From there, what you're going to want to do is you can do tricks to gain yourself standing with the Vent Kids faction, which is the faction that will be your primary go-to for gaining standing and trading in that standing for new board pieces and mods. That will gain you a little bit of standings doing tricks. However, that is not the most effective. That is actually probably the worst way to go about it. But the game doesn't really explain that to you. So what you really want to do is you're going to want to go to the map in these open world zones. You can K-Drive in any of the open world zones, that being the Plains of Eidolon, the Cambion Drift, as well as Orb Valis. Any of those zones are free game for you to use your K-Drive at any time. The best thing you're going to want to do out there is hop onto your K-Drive, open up your world map. This will not work if you're not on your K-Drive. So once you pull out your K-Drive, hop on, open up your map, you're going to see 5 little purple icons around the map that are going to look like little hoverboards. These are races. You will head to those locations. There's only going to be 5 in each area a day, so they're going to be roughly the same when you do them every day, and they rotate. These are going to be hands down your best way to farm standing with Event Kids. I actually wish I had known this earlier. It's a big part of the reason why I'm making this video. I wasted so much time doing the tricks and trying to figure out how to gain standing when all I really had to do was the races every day. One race, depending on how well you do, will net you anywhere from at least 3,000 standing on up. I've seen up to 5,000-6,000 standing, depending on how quick you can do the race. And as you upgrade your board, you're going to be able to do the races better and more efficiently and more quickly. So you're going to be getting more standing. In terms of difficulty, I will say that I think the Plains of Eidolon are most likely the easiest place to do the races, followed by Orb Valis, and I think the Cambion Drift is probably the hardest place to do the races. And anytime you are given an opportunity to do the races in like a cave or / tunnel system, definitely jump on that, because that's going to be an extremely easy time for you, just because the bubbles are more confined. They can't spawn in very open areas, so it's pretty much impossible to miss them, if that makes any sense. Moving on from there, we're going to talk about the mods and stuff here later in the video, but I wanted to just kind of talk about, just ramble at you guys about cage drives in general and why they're so underappreciated, why they're so underused, and a couple ideas I think that could really bring them up to snuff and make them more accessible and make people want to use them. I think first and foremost, you could buff some of the mods. Because some of the mods have really cool abilities. Like, I haven't gotten a lot of the damaging mods yet, but I'm really excited to. Like, there are mods that when you do a certain amount of tricks or when you grind on the rail for long enough and generate static and momentum, that when you jump off and land on the ground, you'll create a shockwave effect. I think that's really neat. Don't get me wrong, their abilities are very niche and very situational. However, they still present the capability to be very fun, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't really like to play super meta builds and likes to have more fun rather than be super efficient. Um, I think hands down what will be really, really cool, and it really wouldn't take much to implement, I don't feel like, and a way to bring cage drives to the hands of more players and generate more interest is if they would take an idea like from Destiny, the Sparrow Racing League. There are we have these races where they're just kind of like timed events, but we don't race against anyone. I think it would be cool if we had a system where we could build our hovercraft or our hoverboard, excuse me, and we had a dedicated race against other players. I think that would be sweet, and that would generate more incentive to play it. Perhaps you could have some kind of cosmetic rewards or new mods dedicated specifically to the racing league, kind of like you have specific mods dedicated to like Conclave, for example. Right now, though, that's the end of my ramble. We're going to get into some of the rewards that you get from the Vent Kids as you rank up their standing. As you can see, you're going to get you can get the Vent Kids apparel. I think it looks very alright. You can see that you get some mods of varying rarities. Some are better than others, and you get different pieces of the boards. I think overall, if you're willing to do the grind, and I don't really even think the grind's that bad. It's what, 5 races a day. It's time gated, and that's an issue I got into in another video a couple of videos ago. I don't like time gating. I don't think at this point in Warframe's life there should be time gating and these kind of things, but that's neither here nor there. There are really cool, like this one, like Cold Arrival. Dismounting does 400 cold damage to enemies within 4 meters. There's another called Slay Board, and what it's going to do is, as you drive forward, you can press B and jump off, and your board will continue to go forward. This does it even without the mod, but with the mod, as your K drive slices into enemies, it will do slash damage. I think that's really cool. Those are some really awesome ideas. It's just more of a niche kind of ability that a lot of players aren't interested in. And my goal with this video is to bring this kind of niche ability that's kind of been in the shadows out into the light so that more people can see it and experience it and appreciate it. If you guys have made it this far and you're enjoying the video, make sure you smash that like button, and perhaps even if you have not already, sub to the channel. We would love to have you guys here. I make daily Warframe content. Moving on from there, you can buy a hoverboard from a small price of about 30 platinum every day. They're like any other modular vendor where they have their daily special. So it's going to be a board every day of varying modular parts, as well as you can talk to Rocky, the Vent Kid, and he will hook you up with a quest that will result in you getting the skateboard frame known as Urelli. Just a heads up, this quest can be pretty frustrating. I've heard a lot of negative reviews about it, but if you persevere, I've heard she's a really cool frame. There's a few different kinds of boards you can get. An infested board, you could get the regular kind of techie, futuristic hoverboard, as well as the board you've seen me riding in this entire video, and that is known as a Velocipod board. And I will show you how to get that towards the end of the video. But do know that if you do not have the requirements to get the Velocipod board, you can ride wild Velocipods out in the Cambion Drift, and I think that's really cool. They're tame creatures. If you see one, you can run up to one and just start riding it. That's really cool. But while we head back to the Necrolisk so I can show you that, I'm going to ramble at you for a few more minutes about the would be known as the K Drive League. I think we have to be vocal as a community if that's something that we want, and I really think it'd be cool and it's a good opportunity to, like I said, show some love to something that Digital Extremes added a couple years ago and really wasn't received well. And I think part of the reason it wasn't received well was the mechanics of it and just the very niche nature of the K drives. A lot of people are like, well, we have arch wings. Why would we use K drives? And I get that. Their arch wings are a lot more versatile. They're a lot faster than K drives. But I do think that the K drives are more engaging and they're more fun to use, especially with the mods that you can use with the K drives. I have been vocal in the past about being frustrated with Digital Extremes for adding different kinds of content and just kind of moving on. But at the same time, it is important to remember that they are a business and there's no point in them investing resources in things that people are not interested in. So, like I said, I just feel I'll bring the idea up to you guys. You guys let me know your thoughts, and it's something that we would like to see incorporated into the game. We should be vocal. We should let Digital Extremes know. That way, hopefully, at some point in the future, we might see a change and we might see the K Drive League added, and it'll be a fun side activity for us in the community to take part in. But what we're going to do now is we're going to head on to the down to the necklace, and we're going to take a look at where we need to go to get the Velocipod skins. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to take you a little bit of a grind to go and get these skins. Not because it's a high standing with the Andrade family, it's not, but they do cost you a whopping 50,000 reputation here. So it's not something that you're just going to, you know, up and buy, unless you have some standing sitting around or some more Andrade coins. But these are it. These are very cool, and you can customize pretty much all their colors to make different color combinations. Definitely worth it in my opinion. They're super unique, but due to where they're at, I think they're easily overlooked. But guys, that is going to do it for me. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you guys in the stars.